neighborhood. This is the place where you're entitled to Brad's opinion. And now for your host, Brad Allard.
He's really good at this, isn't he?
He's got it down.
Yeah, you and I can
How are
remember.
you?
He's like Ed McMahon. See, and I say that, and all these kids are like, "Who? What?"
Who? Yeah.
I used with Johnny Carson. Who? What? Okay, forget it.
At least there's YouTube.
Yeah, I know.
Guys are missing out.
Yes, they are. I have Andy Nolan here. He's running for Precinct 3 for Justice of the Peace, for God knows why, and he'll tell us why. But how long you been running now? About a month and a half, 2 months?
Oh gosh, I threw my name in the hat. Well, started attending community meetings and that kind of thing about August last year.
August, okay. See, that's one of the things I want to ask you about is about the process of campaigning itself, because a lot of people have a wrong idea about what it's like and how much time it takes and all this other business. So I'm going to ask you about your campaign. I'm going to ask you about why you want to do this. So also spend some time talking about your background, because people want to know who they vote for, not just what they're voting on and the position they're in. They want to know your background. We prior to the show, we had a little rundown, and it sounds like you've been pretty busy the last 30 years.
Oh yeah.
Well, it keeps you out of the pool hall. Yeah, but Andy,
One would think.
Andy and I also live on the same block, about 3 houses down, more or less. So I've seen him. We call him Officer Andy. I didn't know if you knew that or not. That my wife calls you that when she sees you pull up in your vehicle. But anyway, how you doing, Taylor?
I'm well. How are you?
It's a living. Busy day today. Monday's my busy day.
Happy Valentine's Day, Mr. Allard.
That's a little bit creepy, but thank you. No, are you doing anything for Valentine's for Mrs. Nolan?
I need to.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
We're campaigning, and she's forgiven me already. But,
Well,
we've been doing Valentine's things campaigning.
Well, yeah, that sounds fun.
That's loving, isn't it? No.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure she's your biggest fan, though, and that's you can't do those kind of campaigns without a supportive wife, certainly, or spouse of any kind.
I am wonderfully blessed.
Yes. Okay, I'm
Thank
sharing
you,
it.
Thank you, dear.
I'm sharing this with several of the groups I'm in. See anybody else that would be interested in this.
Thank you, listeners, for tuning in and just
Yeah.
making the extra step to be informed.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Here,
Thank you.
I'll share with my Sunday school class. What the heck?
Why not?
No, they're good people. Anyway, so see if you have anybody on here yet. It'll show up pretty soon. But before we jump into all that, we need to talk about our sponsors. Okay, I do a little rundown. I have 2 sets of sponsors, really. They're all one big happy family, but I try to divide them up. But anyway, Daniel Basin, CrossFit Burleson. You know Daniel by any chance? He's in your precinct, I'll bet.
I've actually been by his Basin Steel.
Yes.
I've been by there twice trying to get in. I need to make an appointment.
Well,
with him.
he's
It's my fault. I have not called
well.
his office, but I've gone in face-to-face twice, and one time he wasn't there traveling, and the other time he was really, really busy.
He really is busy. He also,
Understand that.
Well, he spends a lot of time in Guatemala with an orphanage.
Wow.
So he's on like their board or whatever, and
Yes.
and so about 2 to 3 times a year he's down there for at least a week or so. So that's where he is spending his time.
Well, Mr. Basin, if you're listening, sir, it's I can't wait to meet you, and
Yeah.
I've heard a lot about you. Thank
Oh
you.
well, he's a former student too, so I'm really fond of him, of course. But thank you at CrossFit Burleson, 317 Southwest Wilshire. So get yourself a workout. Check out the website on CrossFitBurleson.com. Okay, Shandy Stogsdill, Stogsdill Realty Group, another former student. A very sweet young lady with a real sweet family. So if you're looking to move in and around the Burleson area, she's the one to talk to. She knows all about it. She probably also lives in Precinct 3, so you can probably hopefully count on her vote or two with her husband. But Stogsdill Group can find you a home here in Burleson, which ain't easy these days. It's getting expensive, so you better hurry. Also, thank you to Rex Russell. You know Rex by any chance?
Have not met him.
All right, he's a long time Cleburne and a Burleson guy. He works out at Cleburne, but he went to Burleson High School. Baylor graduate with me, even though I didn't know him there because he was too busy studying and I was too busy golfing or something stupid. But anyway, Russell Wealth Group and myfinancialbox.com. Hit the link, watch his video, get to know him, help you with your 401ks and your IRAs. Also, thank you to Kimmy Etheridge at Optavia. Not just a weight loss plan, but a weight maintenance plan, a lifestyle plan, 817-789-1622. I know about 3 people now that are on this Optavia program, and they swear by it. They think it's really good. And it's not one of these diet-type plans that just leave you just miserable. So there you go. Optavia, call Kimmy in 817-789-1622 and have at it. Also, Gayla Moore's over at Southern Gym. I was there Friday with my wife. My wife had something she needed repaired, so we went over there. It's on the top of the windmill building. You got to take it's Cindy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yes.
You got to take her over there. They have really nice inventory, and and Gail is just very sweet.
And impossible for me to leave without going into debt.
They have plans, but it's also what a lot of our business is what we went there for repairs and cleaning and design and things like that. So it's a full service jewelry, and it's very, very nice, and she's very sweet. So it's not too late. I know it's the 14th, and hopefully you hear this today, so it's not too late. And I bet the missus or your girlfriend or both will accept a piece of jewelry on the 15th. So there you are.
Whoa.
You like that, did you? Okay, all right. Also, this is what I thought it was. The Hot Works are going to have a blood drive, a community blood drive on the 19th of February. It's Saturday at 9 to 10, or 1, no, not 10 o'clock. Good grief. I need my glasses cleaned. 9 to 1 o'clock. February 19th, 9 to 1 o'clock, they're having a blood drive. It's a pretty important thing to do, obviously, to give blood. And so Michelle Coling has got this thing going on over at Hot Works. If you don't know where Hot Works is, it's over by the theaters and the Kroger store off of 714 or John Jones. It's a very highly thought of facility. It's one of those infrared spas, if you don't know what it is. It's not just, workout facility. It's infrared workout and all this other stuff. And it's supposed to be really a different kind of workout. And I know several people that have taken up her business, and they really like it. I mean, they say it's better than just throwing iron around. So anyway, that's what they say.
Wow.
So I don't know. Anyway, Hot Works having their blood drive. So be sure to roll up your sleeve. Okay. The first question I would have for anybody that's running for office is why?
Why? Mm-hmm. Well, sir, I've spent my life serving, and that's what I like to do. That's what I feel like I've been called to do my whole life. I had a mother that had a horrible case of multiple sclerosis when I was a child. I had to take care of her. My grandmother, she was sick with pancreatic cancer. I was always taking care of her. I've always had a life of service with my profession, being in law enforcement for my whole career.
Right, we're going to talk about that as well, but
I love to serve, and I've just reached the finish line with my police career now, and I just want to serve right here in our backyard.
For those who are not really familiar with what a JP does, what exactly are the duties?
Well, Justice of the Peace is a judge that presides over the justice court.
Right.
And they hear all amounts and controversy, small claims, up to $20,000.
Oh, really? I thought it was like
used to be 5.
That's what I thought.
And then the legislators, they raised it to 10, and then it went to 20, and they're talking about raising it again. So you're talking about some very complex legal issues that they're hearing now.
Right.
Landlord-tenant disputes, evictions, small claims, debt claims, forcible entries and detainers, of course, with evictions, and material and workmanship liens.
Well, that's going to really add to the workload if it's gone up to 20,000, to say the least.
Absolutely.
Because I always thought it was 5,000. I'm glad to be educated on that. And so most of these cases are going to be dealt with pretty quickly, I would imagine. I mean, is it a full-on trial as people imagine it to be?
It can be.
It can be, right.
And people have the right to pick that. They can go that route.
And they can pick a jury trial if they wish.
Absolutely. And that's even down to Class C misdemeanors, which the JP court also hears. Truancy cases. They serve as a magistrate. They sign arrest and search warrants.
That's interesting to mention the truancy, because for a long, long time I was at Burleson High School across the street from the sub-courthouse, Judge Monk's. What precinct is he in?
2.
Okay. And he had all these truancy cases. And then the state legislature changed the truancy laws, which not for the better. All right. And so a lot of those cases went down. But you'd hear the truancy cases. I hope the state of Texas makes it a bit more substantial for kids who are skipping on a routine basis. What the consequences are, because they took away a lot of the consequences. This is about a decade ago.
Okay.
And I remember, wow. I had several students who had those little ankle monitors on.
Sure.
And I'm thinking, okay, what is this? You serious criminal? No, it's truancy. It's always truancy. So anyway, I digress. But anyway, so typically, though, you're not really hearing just traffic tickets or whatever. I mean,
oh, no.
That's sort of for the city court, right?
Right. Well, no, actually, we have a lot of tickets for the county and the constables and the game wardens and all the other agencies that are within the county that don't fall in with the municipality.
Mm-hmm.
But where my platform is I want to keep our community safe. There's inevitable growth in this town, and the crime's coming with it. Fort Worth is moving south and west, and we're just growing by leaps and bounds.
But when you say Fort Worth is moving, there's good and bad. It's coming with that. There's more people. It's great for business, but it means more need for law enforcement.
Absolutely.
And when you talk about Precinct 3 precisely, where exactly geographically for the listeners is the Precinct 3?
Well, the county split into 4 quadrants, let's just say, and they just redistricted through the census. So we actually changed some things a little, but the southern boundary would be Highway 67 down in Alvarado, and everything north of that is in the precinct, and then Ellis County on the east, 35W, including Briar Oaks to the west, and then the Tarrant County line to the north.
Okay, so the city of Burleson, a good chunk of it is in Precinct 2, right?
A very large part of it.
Yeah, so it looks like you're going to have a lot more of the county than the city itself.
Both, actually. There's a lot of Burleson that's still inside Precinct 3 as well.
Okay. Does that make any difference about how you do your job, if it's in or out of the city limits?
Generally, no. If it falls into our court, we wouldn't. There wouldn't be much to it. But, of course, the city of Burleson would have original jurisdiction over certain things. Of course, any of their traffic tickets written by their officers before their city court.
So, but you said you wanted to serve.
Love to serve.
I love to serve. Let's go back to your background, because your whole background, from what we discussed prior to the show, is one of service.
I am uniquely qualified for this position.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, besides your law enforcement background, you also have a degree.
I do.
Practicing attorney degree.
I am.
So,
it's crazy. I know. People, I talk to folks all the time, and they're like, "Huh?"
Well, I'll ask about your schedule, I guess, how you can balance both at the same time in a little bit. But let's go all the way back to the beginning. So you tell me earlier that you worked since you're a young boy, practically. And then you became. Well, you tell the story. I'll let you tell the story.
I grew up in North Mesquite. I worked at the Minyards food store at Gus Thomas and Oates. I grew up. It was a job that I was close enough I could walk to work. So when I was sacking groceries at 15, I worked there. Supposedly no more than 18 hours a week, but it was always,
of course,
it was always a lot more.
I worked in the grocery business. I know what 18 hours really means.
Yeah, exactly. And you're spot on. Thank you. So yeah, I did that, and then I left as a full-time meat cutter. I'd worked all through the grocery store, worked in every department, and had security officers that worked there. They were Dallas County deputies, and they talked me into applying for the Dallas jail, and I went to work in the Dallas jail, and I did that for a couple of years at Lou Sterrett.
Lou Sterrett. Now, for the listening audience out here, if you don't know where Lou Sterrett is in downtown Dallas, and it is intimidating. Did you ever go in Lou Sterrett thinking this has just got to be the craziest place I've ever seen in my life?
I remember walking into the personnel office, and I hadn't yet gone into the jail, and they said, "You're not 19 years old." I had to be 19. "You're not 19 yet. Come back when you turn 19. And I went back in, and they hired me probably a week after I had my 19th birthday.
Well,
so I worked there. I was there pretty young.
I'm sure you had some stories, but
it was a different environment.
Yes, it was. Yes. And then so you, after working there, you said, I think I like this law enforcement profession.
Well, I grew up in a military law enforcement family. My father had done 22 years in the Army and then retired and went to work for the Highway Patrol, and he retired from DPS. And that's kind of what I knew growing up. And I thought that was the best option for me with the options that I had available. And I kept my nose clean. And I was taking some classes at Eastfield, and I wanted to go into the DPS highway patrolman route, but Fort Worth was hiring. I had a roommate say, "Hey, let's go take the Fort Worth test." So, all right, I've never been out there, but I'll go. And we took, and I got hired, and he didn't.
Oh, my.
And fast forward 27 years later, and I'm still here.
And you're still an active police officer?
I am. I'm a sergeant on the east side.
Okay, so even if you have your law degree and whatever, you're still wearing the badge and all that.
Yes, it was kind of a phenomenon, you could say. We had the Texas Wesleyan Night Law Program. So I went back. I took everything I could at TCC, transferred to Dallas Baptist. I got my undergrad in criminal justice, took the LSAT, worked really, really hard on that, and finally got into law school. Then I went to the night program, which is a lot different than, say, your traditional day 3-year program.
Oh, yeah. I've been teaching nights for 17 years, so I have a different type of student than I do at Dallas Baptist, which we were talking about before the show also, how much we both enjoy and admire Dallas Baptist. I really do.
Oh, it's a beautiful campus now.
It is.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. My wife went there early in her college career. I'm not going to date her, how old she is, but it's a whole lot different. We drove by it on Friday, and it's like she didn't even hardly recognize it. But
stunning campus.
Well, anyway, speaking of fans, I have a Cindy Shelton Nolan watching, I guess. So you can say hey to Miss Cindy there.
Hello, dear.
Hello, dear. She's making sure that you showed up. Also, Sherry Step Scott. I don't know if you know her. Do you know Sherry Scott?
Not off the top of my head.
Well, you know those blessing boxes you see around town?
Absolutely.
That's
With the
her.
books and stuff.
Well, no, it's with food and such.
Okay.
Okay, you go down like the Renfro one
Yeah.
stop across from the oil change place and all that, and there's one at the library, and there's one at Ellsbury Baptist, and there's just a box, and you can put food and stuff, and she runs that. And I always give her a shout out because that is a wonderful, wonderful program. And
Yeah, I've seen them around town.
yeah, and she and her group, it's kind of just an informal group. They're the ones that stock those shelves with groceries and such, and so it's a blessing to the community to say the least. And that's one of the reasons I like doing this show is I get to show spotlights on stuff like that. As opposed to me just yelling about Joe Biden. I could do that on my own time.
Yeah. We really do have an awesome community.
Yeah, we do. And I know that things got kind of rough in the last election, but I don't foresee it happening this time. I hope not.
I think we just pulled together stronger personally.
Yeah, after the events of the last election, I think that people said, "Wait a minute, this is not what we're about," and I haven't heard anything about it this time. I know we don't have a high-profile election going on, but we do have the primaries and all this other stuff, and I haven't heard anything like I did a couple of years ago, and I hope I never do again. That's one reason I have to ask you why you do it, because it can be kind of tough, running for office.
Yeah. It's not for the faint of heart.
Yeah. Well, let's finish your story. You decided to become an attorney, so
Yeah.
you have your own office and all that?
I just office at home.
Okay.
Office at home. I don't have any staff. I don't have to pay for anybody's benefits or anything like that. And I draft most of my own stuff.
Who do you represent? What type of clients?
Well, as a police officer, I don't handle anything criminal. That would be a
Right.
conflict of
Of
interest.
course. It would be like, hey, you need an attorney as you're handing out your card to the lineup or whatever. That'd be kind of bad.
Yeah, not ethical. So I refer that stuff out.
Yeah. So you're mostly civil cases and such.
Yeah, I got out of law school, and my wife was on my case about paying off some law debt. Mm-hmm. So I did a few divorces. And
Ooh, I bet that was fun.
well, the thing of it is, you start looking at your spouse differently.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, maybe family law is not where I want to be. It's abysmal. There is no winners, I don't think.
No, there isn't. But
Yeah. And if you tell somebody that you do that, there's always somebody that's been through a divorce, and they look at you like, oh, I hated my attorney, or I hated my wife.